Oh, O Brahma, I, the pure consciousness, which is you, obviously. I don't have a, I don't have a personal will of my own. I have dedicated my will to your will because I have chosen the path, excuse me, I have chosen the path of truth and wisdom. I have chosen the path of authenticity. I have chosen the path of total authentic. I have I have chosen the path of total authenticity, total authentication, where there is no hypocrisy in me. I have chosen the path to raise my awareness. You see, when you become authentic, when you become authentic, basically totally authentic, and when you become totally truthful to yourself, as I said, you can walk away from an unpleasant person. You can walk away from a situation if you do not like, but you cannot walk away from yourself. So here I am reminding you, when you see the mirror, basically, you are happy, not by your accumulation that you have gathered, but happy from within, that you are giving birth, which is the accumulation, to something beautiful. Everyone is spiritual. You understand? It's not that you claim and you look at somebody and you say, "Oh, I thought you were spiritual." What does that mean? That I'm going to let you walk all over me? Or I'm going to let you create self doubt in the rest of the creation? Hmm. I have nothing against nobody, but authenticity is when you raise prana in your body, which is essentially the life as an energy, you start seeing the truth as it is happening. You see, most of this truth is very favorable to you because it speaks of unity, love, and peace, which I also love. But truth does not go in the favor of individuals, if you understand. Truth. Truth does not go in the favor of individuals. Truth is truth is totally impartial. If you want, truth is not what you think it is, but truth is what you are perceiving. You are perceiving me right now. I say a lot of things for the love, peace, and unity, but also there is other truth too that I am perceiving since my awareness is high. The point is, I am authentic. I am not a hypocrite. I have integrity about myself. As far as being spiritual, it does not mean that you let everyone abuse you. If you have self respect for yourself, you have, if you have self respect yourself, you have self love for yourself. Respect for yourself is the first expression of self love for yourself, if you understand. And if you have that, you are authentic. Self love, we have talked about self love. I dedicated the entire retreat, if you were listening. If not, go ahead and repeat the retreat again. If you know, go ahead and listen to the retreat again. Do मेरे को सिखती do take pauses during the retreat while you are listening and paying attention to it. Do take pauses, you see, but listen to the entire retreat about self love. that what really self-love is. As a matter of fact, I remember elaborating. As a matter of fact, I remember elaborating on self-love in quite a bit of detail, in a very profound way. You see, self-love, the definition of self-love goes way beyond profound and deeper than your body and the mind, if you understand that. You see, spirituality, somebody said in the arguments we were having, and this person said to me, stated, I thought you were spiritual, you see. And I looked at that person and I said, I thought you were spiritual, you see. And nothing baffled, nothing baffled. And then I explained, each one of us, basically, each one of us is spiritual. Each one of us is spiritual, having this three-dimensional experience, which is a very narrow band, if you understand that. Three-dimensional experience based on your karma. We all are spiritual people. Every being, you see. But we are having this bodily experience generated by our karma. So it's not that you become spiritual. You are already spiritual and you are evolving. You are just a point of consciousness, if you know what I mean. You are just a point of consciousness. You are just a point of self-awareness, and you are evolving. You are changing form, because the point of consciousness and awareness has given birth basically to life energy, and life energy is evolving from one stage to another. In during this evolution, whether it is accumulating more karma or it is sharing karma, it is just depending how much aware you are. Awareness is always there, is shining in its full magnitude, basically. You have to take your faith out from the superstitions and let it shine in you. You have to take out from the fears. You have to take out from the agreements that seizes the expression of your life, basically. You see? So, spiritually does not mean that in here, in this society, in this culture, specifically, it's a beautiful culture, it's a beautiful society, but that's not the point. The point I'm trying to make, the connotation, the interpretation, that's the right word in English I'm looking for. The interpretation of the word spirituality is probably has become like, as if you see somebody spiritual, or the person claims the person is spiritual, you have expectations that this is the victim. I'm not saying everybody is looking at a spiritual person as a victim, but a fair amount of beings are looking at spiritual as a victim. If you understand that this person claims, or this person posts, or this person says things that indicates this person is spiritual. In the meantime, you are being old, excuse me, with the word I'm looking for in English. In the meantime, basically, in the meantime, you are becoming oblivious to the fact that you are as spiritual as the other person is. The only difference or the only distinction here is this person is more aware of their well-being and to get to the truth in any shape or form, no matter whether they are posting good memes to people, whether they are posting the love piece of humanity, which is a beautiful thing, or whether they are saying something useful that somebody can benefit of. You see, this is all that they are evolving in one way or another. There is no condemnation as far as they keep trying. But on the other hand, on the flip side of the coin, basically, there you are, that you are not even close to be concerned with your well-being. You are so fascinated, and you are so fascinated, and you are so involved in your psychology. You are so badly banded. You have the third badly banded, the expression. You are so badly banded, and you are so badly bonded and fascinated, totally fascinated by the experience, by the objects around you, by pictures on the wall, by the words, by the memories, by the birthdays, by the numerous type of things that you are fascinated by. The beings, the thoughts you are perceiving within your mind is always in a state of compulsion. Your mind is always in a state of compulsion. You are not even finishing a task, and your mind is prompting you what you are going to do next. And you keep listening to your mind, and you keep going over and over and over. And before you even know, the entire carnation is over. And that's why you are so worn out. You don't have no energy, because you just keep going wherever this wild horse mind takes you. You see, then you are not concerned with your well-being. Then you are not concerned with spirituality. Spirituality is not something that you bring from outside. First of all, understand that there are two type of beings here. Number one is who is aware that they are spiritual, and number two, who is not aware that they are spiritual. If you understand, is simply the matter, is simply the distinction of awareness. You see, is what level of awareness you are aware that you are spiritual, the more you would bloom like a flower. Whatever the level of awareness you are not aware that you are spiritual, the more you would suffer in the process. You see, we both are, hey, buddy, you call me spiritual, and you expect me not to deliver the truth. Yes, truth comes with love, unity, and peace, but truth also comes. Do not just expect love, unity, and peace until unless you yourself do something about it. Otherwise, you would just keep going around, and you would just say to other people, oh, I thought you were spiritual. I thought you wouldn't defend yourself. I thought you wouldn't defend the argument. I thought I would just keep calling you names, and I thought I would just keep abusing you, and you would never respond to it. This is not spirituality. A person who is that kind of spiritual, as a matter of fact, is lacking of self-love. If you understand, spirituality, you are spiritual, I'm spiritual. The only difference is who has integrity about themselves, who has integrity about herself, who has integrity about himself, and the other one, and self-love. Self-love does not mean you become arrogant either. Self-love does not mean, God forbid me, that you go around and become selfish. You see, that you cannot get past, God forbid me, that you cannot, namaskar, that you cannot get past yourself. You understand what I'm saying to you? Your world totally revolves around you, if you know what I mean. That's selfishness, that's not self-love. And we elaborated in a lot of detail other day, basically, in one of my retreats. But today I have decided to bring clarity, as I promised you yesterday, because lately I've been seeing a lot of responses from people, and I am coming to the conclusion that the interpretation of spirituality in their mind is way, way different than what really spirituality is. Real spirituality is everybody is spiritual. The point of awareness, the point of consciousness which gives birth to life energy. You see, through this life energy, you either transcend your karma or you accumulate your karma. If you are conducting the process with awareness, you would know that you are sharing or transcending more karma than you are accumulating. But if you are not aware, the other fella, you see, I'm the guy who talks about truth and wisdom. You must be the other guy who goes around and see who is claiming themselves as spiritual or if there are any traits. So I can consider this person meek, and I can emotionally abuse this person. I can say whatever they want. I can state or claim whatever they want. And this person would say Ram Ram. This person would say Namaskar. No, that's not spirituality. If you are doing that, you are lacking of self-love. Spirituality is you see the truth impartially. Spirituality is when you have one eye for the entire creation. If you understand that, when you are totally impartial, that's why in the wisdom traditions there is one eye in between these two eyes. I have mentioned that before. When your two eyes are closed, the third eye is open, and that is for the entire creation. You understand? And you always speak truth, or as much as you can, as much as you can speak truth. Then you do not concern yourself with other people's opinions. Then you do not seek a reaction from other people. Then you are not insecure that somebody would counter argument with you. Then you do not then you are not insecure that somebody would counter argue with you. Then you fully learn profoundly, not physically or theoretically, but profoundly. You let go. You see, you let go of things that you cannot cling on. You see, this is all the truth. When you become more aware of spirituality, it's not that you are bringing or importing spirituality. It's not that you are bringing or importing spirituality from somewhere outside. There is nothing, there is not a thing which exists outside of yourself. Please know that. Everything is within you. It's just the matter. I give you the generic metaphor of overcast. You see, overcast. Overcast does not mean the sun is not shining. The sun is shining with all its magnitude. The sun is shining with all its intensity. But you were not able to see because there were clouds. Now imagine all the faith that you have invested in the superstitions. Those are the clouds. And that's why, excuse me, and that's why you wore out very soon and very quickly, you see, because you carry so much garbage within you. And then there is no chance to feel the spirituality within you, you see. But when you take your faith out one by one from the superstitions and everything, then you have a chance. When you are not caught up in fear, when you are not caught up in insecurity, when you do not seek that how many people are going to like, when you do not seek that how many people are going to like or respond or react to my post, when you do not put a fish on the hook like a, what the word I'm looking for, when you do not put the fish on the hook as a goat, basically, to attract more fishes and stuffs like that, when you do not seek when you do not seek a reaction, you see, when you are not attached to the reward, when you are not attached to the result of a good deed, you see. So this is why, this, when you have all that kind of awareness, you are spiritual. But first you have integrity and you have self-love about yourself. You see, self-love goes way beyond being arrogant. Selfless absolutely does not mean that you become selfish. Self-love does not mean absolutely that you cannot get past your own self, or God forbid me 1,000 times, that you are going to step on the throat of others, basically, just to get what you want. You see, this is not self-love. None of it is self-love. Self-love goes way beyond. Self-love is that you accept yourself how you are. And then if you see there is a problem, then you do something about it. Self-love is you take the test during any time of the day, that how much in that particular moment, at any given moment, you are in a state of compulsion or you are led by your mind, which is just the discriminatory aspect. It's like a defense mechanism. If it prompts you to do something about it, if a situation is happening, go right ahead and do something about it. Do not hold yourself back. But if it is not, if it is just trying to hook your attention and creating fear in you, duality and self-doubt in you, which stops the expression of your life, if it is creating imaginations in you, which seizes the expression of your life, get rid of that thought, meaning transcending the thought. You see, this is what self-love is. So do not think or do not assume, do not think or do not assume any meanings, basically. Do not think or do not assume any meanings to spirituality. Just know that you already are spiritual. If you are awake enough, if you are alert enough, not alert by caffeine tablets, not alert by coffee, not alert by energy drinks and stuffs like that, but if you are fully but if you are fully alert enough within you, if your awareness basically is so heightened that you can see the movement of the thought, specifically when you are in meditation, specifically when you are doing the Brahman work, specifically when you are doing the work of sacred, you see. And mind, demons and devil hate it when you do the work of Brahman. Right now, I'm doing the work of Brahman. Right now, I know that how the demons, through my naked eyes even, are trying to hook my attention. But they have been trying for a long period of time. It has been years and years. And the more I transcend myself, the more I become aware. You see, I can see it. I'm talking about alertness in that sense, if you understand that. You understand it so far? What spiritual mean is just like you, if you do not consider yourself spiritual and you have nothing to do with spirituality, then you are one of those people who are going to go around and holding themselves not responsible or accountable for their own actions, and are saying that Jesus basically has died for my sins. And are saying that Jesus basically has died for my sins. But we have elaborated on that before numerous times, that no one and nobody dies for anyone's sins. It means that you think or you make assumption in your mind that you can do whatever you want and you are not holding yourself accountable for your actions. So here I am saying to you, no, in the end, we all basically have to hold ourselves accountable for our actions. No one has died for anybody's sins, if you understand. It doesn't work that way. So you are just like that person or the follower who says, I am not holding myself responsible or accountable for the actions I'm performing. You are going around and, God forbid me, 1,000 times hurting people left and right, and you are emotionally abusing them. You are spewing sadly and unfortunately poison to them, and after that you are saying Jesus basically died for my sins. It does not work like that. We have elaborated on that on detail. You are responsible for every minute action that you perform, that even can be so minimum and so small as you are breathing, so generic basically, which you never bother to pay attention, if you know what I mean. Your breathing. But in meditation, specifically in Kriya meditation, that's the powerful technique that we use to get ourselves out of our suffering, duality, self-doubt, and fear, if you understand. So that's one of the main tools of ours against the demons, against the devil, and against, because mind is a gateway. Sometimes it is useful. When it is useful, listen to it. Sometimes it is not useful. When it is not useful, put it in your pocket, turn it off. Otherwise, it would drive you crazy. Now you have, I didn't give you a glimpse of what spirituality is. I elaborated in detail what is a spirituality. And you should not confuse a spiritual person that they do not have the self-integrity or self-love about them. You see? Just like that, you look at that spiritual person, or you say, oh, this person is coming across like in a spiritual, I can say whatever I want. And if this person defends, then I look at the person and I say, I thought you were spiritual. Or is it coming from the person who posted the picture of Buddha basically and said, because, okay, so you are considering, if somebody's posting a spiritual picture of Buddha or Lord Shiva or Lord Krishna, or somebody's trying to defend their point of view, then you try to manipulate the situation. You either what the word I'm looking for in English, you either patronize the person, condescending manner, or you try to manipulate the situation by playing the spiritual card. No, this is not a spirituality. Spirituality is truth. Truth does not distinction basically that who is perceiving it. Truth just speaks the words of truth and wisdom. The tongue, the truth basically, the tongue is the sword from the sacred, is the sword from the divinity basically. This time, that's what truth is. And truth does not distinction that who is perceiving the truth, the person or the being who is basically saying the truth, does not distinguish who is perceiving the truth. I am only responsible for the truth that I say. You are responsible how you perceive. When I say it, it may have, I'm saying, I'm giving it a possibility. It may have a different intention. It may have a different connotation when I say it. But when you perceive it, it goes through but when you perceive it, it goes through everything that you know, that you have been conditioned, you see, or you have been domesticated. It goes through everything, if you understand. So I am only responsible for what I say. You are responsible how you are perceiving. Somewhere in between is not the truth, but the truth is when I said something, I try to manifest a thought or the expression that I'm saying. Truth is just like that. If you see this lamp, it electricity is running. Electricity is running through this lamp basically. Electricity is lighting up this lamp. It's the same electricity which is bringing a person to life. You see, when you are trying to resuscitate or jump shock the person, is the same electricity, you see, which is running through this lamp, is the same electricity which is bringing a person to life, and it is the same electricity which is running through the electric chair. You have heard of the electric chair. It is the same electricity which is running through the electric chair. People are, because of whatever the actions, this is not the point what I'm trying to make, whatever the actions basically they have performed, it would bring consequences. I have told you universe is all about cause and effect. Whatever you cause it later or sooner, it would bring the consequences to our life. Nobody has escaped this karma. You see, this is the fundamental definition of karma. So what happens basically is the same electricity is running through the electric chair and ending the course of someone's life. As I said, if you have caused something, there would be a consequence, you see. But ending the course, ending the course of someone's life. Same electricity which is running through the lamp and lighting this bulb, same electricity which is running through the jump pedals and bringing somebody to life, and the same electricity which is running through the electric chair and seizing or ending the course of somebody's life. You see, this electricity which is running through this lamp, this electricity which is running through the pedals, this electricity which is running through the electric chair, it is not discriminating whether it is lighting a lamp. It is not discriminating whether it is running through the pedals or ending the course of somebody's life. This electricity has no recognition of what it is going to illuminate, if you understand. So, just like that, the person who is more aware that they are spiritual, the person who is more aware that everyone is spiritual, but they do not go around and compete themselves. They do not go around and compare themselves, basically. That am I more spiritual to others? You see, just like the religious people. Have you seen the religious people? I'm not saying all the religious people, by the way, do not misunderstand me. You see, there are more aware but still religious people. You see, the point is not the religious person. I respect their right. I respect their right to follow a religion. I am never against it. It is their life, it is their liberation, it is their individual liberty, if you understand. I respect right of them to believe in the religion. It is your life, but I do not have to respect the religion itself, if you understand. Anyway, we don't want to be too we don't want to be too deviate, or we don't want to be too bent, we don't want to be too deviate, and we don't want to be too bent from our main topic, which is what is spiritual. You see, you do not go around and compare yourself. She's religious, he's religious, he is a sinner, she's a sinner, he's a saint, he's a religious person, or he follows this philosophy or that philosophy. I am spiritual and I am better. You see, because if you are that kind of spiritual, then you are not being truthful to yourself. It's corruption and it's hypocrisy. That you want something and you are trying basically to project a false image. You want something and you are trying to uphold a false image. You are passing yourself as something else, you see, than what you really are. And if you were aware of your own self, if your awareness was heightened, if awareness or consciousness was running through in your body without any constipations or without any barriers. You know what the barriers are? You like to break the barriers. So you basically are not going around and comparing yourself, if you know what I mean, but you are removing the barriers and you are letting consciousness or the sense of self awareness within you fluently, but not in a constipated manner. That's the right expression, you see. And when that happens, you speak truth, or as much as you dare, you speak truth and try to bring clarity, you see. But when you speak truth, you are not concerned with the audience. When you speak truth, you do not compare yourself that how am I doing as far as spirituality, as far as concern, you know, as far as as far as concern is concerned, the only person or the only growth that you must be concerned is your own growth. once you become concerned of your spiritual growth, everything falls together for you. Everything works around. Everything would change by itself. You see, if you want to create a happy, healthy, loving, peaceful society, you have to start from yourself. That's the best way to start and look into your own self. When you become more aware of your own self, then you become more aware that you are spiritual. And when you are spiritual, you do not do these things. These things like that, I give you the metaphor of the candy. These things are like I give you the metaphor of the chocolate. When we were small kids, when we were small children, basically, those things were fascinating us. We had a lot of fondness. But when we grew up after a certain age, we realized that this is not in us anymore, if you understand. And we have transcended that. Those things do not fascinate us anymore because there is a distance, there is a time which has been passed. You see, little by little, you gain some wisdom. But do not wait to gain wisdom little by little. You see, you have issues, I understand. I have spoken about the awareness about suicide. I have spoken about fear. I have spoken about OCD or obsession, paranoia, fear, illusions, depression, anxiety. And I have already, excuse me, I have also told you in the retreats that I have been there too. You see, had I used all these things as an excuse for myself, what is expected from me in the bigger scheme of this cosmos, in the bigger scheme of this universe, if you understand, what is expected from me, I would never be performing my part. The more the more aware I became of my spirituality, the more I came to realize there is something expected in this lifetime, in this carnation from me, which is to bring clarity in human perception as well as transcend my karma. So when that happened, it changed the entire course of my life. You see, it changed the entire course of my life. I became more aware and I said, okay, and I didn't become aware in the night time. I have also mentioned to you, everything requires dedication or at least some type of effort. If you are putting some type of effort, if you are dedicated up to a certain point, nature would help you. But you cannot just live and waste time or your entire life on the mercy of nature. When you were an animal, you were an animal before? When you were an animal, when you were an insect, when you were other species, other creatures like that, you basically were evolving unconsciously. You didn't have a huge memory as you do today in the human form. You didn't have a lot of imagination. Human form has imagination. Through imagination we create situations. Through imagination, basically, we create infrastructure and we build countries and etc., inventions, all that. You see, imagination is important. So when you have memories and when you have imagination, now you cannot evolve unconsciously. When the nature pushing you is done. You see, now you cannot live on the mercy of nature. Now you cannot use the excuse of God forbid me these disorders. I'm not challenging what you are going through. Every now and then, each one of us, one way or another, goes through with all that, but we gotta transcend it. And the only way we can transcend is to do something about it and to take first step. Where do you take the first step? Is where you are right now. You take the first step from there. If you slip, if you miss, as the dedication to your practice mind would go and tell you that you have to start from over. You never start from over, you see, because there is no over here and there is no start here. It's very simple. There is no beginning and there is no end. Beginning and end only is through the perspective of mind. Please understand that. Beginning or end, or beginning and end is through the perspective of mind, you see. So do not be disappointed if you miss. Mind is not your ally, you see. You have to treat it as your enemy, and you have to turn it into your ally. Once you take over the mind, once you transcend the mind, there really remains nothing to transcend. You see, is the mind, which is the big problem, is the mind, which is a huge problem. Anytime you try to focus on something or you try to defocus, it goes, it is fired, it is sacked. Sacked is rather a British term. It is fired and it is sacked, and it does not like to be unemployed. It would tell you the negative things. It would try to penetrate demons and devil within you, but you would say, no, I have enough control on myself, but not to follow these type of self-doubt and fear. So you become more aware the part you are supposed to play. These disorders are our karma, my loved ones, my seers, my viewers, if you understand. And we have to, the only way this can go away basically is when we transcend our karma. And the only way we can transcend the karma is when we face it, you see. We face it with the self we face it with the self faith in our own self. You see, this moment is real. We cannot deny this moment. This moment is truth. This moment does not require any words to be defended. You see, this moment is real. That kind of faith I'm talking about. Not again faith something outside of yourself. As soon as you keep putting faith outside of yourself, you will as long as you keep putting faith outside of yourself, you would remain miserable. So start from somewhere and start from where you are. There is no beginning and an end, you see. And then once you become more stable, you would just keep going further and further. After a certain period of time towards your dedication towards meditation and towards career practice, you would realize there are so many things that you had attachments and fondness to. Those things do not really matter anymore. Even you don't want to go around and compare yourself or your divinity or your spirituality to other people. You become only concerned with your growth. When you become only concerned with your growth, it naturally reflects in your communication. You spread the light and you spread the love around. Now that's where love comes from. These are different levels of awareness. um, the more you become aware yourself, it's natural. You do not have to go and hug people and kiss people and stuffs like that. It's only natural that love would reflect in your communication and your light would shine, you see, without any limits. So you are, whether you know it or you do not know it, whether you have the awareness of it or you do not have the awareness of it, but realize something. You are expected. Now, nature, you cannot live on the mercy of nature. This is something very significant for you to understand. Now, you are expected to do your part. Okay, there is so much nature can push you. After a certain period of time, if you still do not get the hints or do not see the signs, then it would go, nature would go on a certain different level of lessons. You understand? Those lessons we may not like. It happens to each one of us. Nature does not discriminate. Discrimination is the sickness of human mind. Human learns to discriminate, human learns to discriminate on the behalf of color. Human has learned to discriminate on the behalf of gender. The humans have learned to discriminate on the behalf of linguistics and languages. And human has learned to discriminate on the behalf of financial status and the money and how good you are doing in the society. A more aware, self-aware spiritual person does not see no charm in these type of sick traits. So yeah, nature does not discriminate. It happens to each one of us, if you understand. But there comes a point that you become so light like a feather while you transcend your karma by facing it and doing a spiritual practice, that you are still in the state of meditation, such as I am right now. And these words, for the most part, I wouldn't call it samadhi. I was in samadhi for a couple of hours, and I actually came out of samadhi, and then I am as good as my words. So I kept my words that I would bring clarity, the transparency, to see more clearly as what is spiritual and what things that you should refrain if you are seriously looking for your well-being. You see, your well-being, raising your life energy prana, raising your awareness more is the same thing. You raise your awareness more, you raise your life energy which is running through you. Your well-being in every aspect basically would improve dramatically. That change would be so dramatic that you would become so astonished, and you would say, this is heaven. I am getting there. Heaven is a state. Heaven is the state of the being. You see, we have talked about that. So ponder on what I told you. You see, do not go around and look victims that who looks spiritual so I can say whatever I want to say, and this person is not going to defend their point of view. You have the right to say, I respect your right. In the same regard, don't try to manipulate me, because if I focus at you as much as for a couple of seconds, I can see through you. So don't play games with me. You can play these games to somebody who is spiritually weak. That's why realizing that you are spiritual, no matter who you are, whether you realize it or you do not realize it. If you understand, no matter who you are, whether you realize that you are spiritual or you do not realize you are spiritual, you go around and you see, if you in your mind, if there is a notion that this person is spiritual, and obviously it means the person is timid, God forbid me, or the person is meek, or the person is gonna say, gonna, if you smack on the person's face, the person is gonna offer the other cheek. You see, no, it does not happen. I don't talk to you fiction. I do not talk to you John Grisham. I do not talk to you Stephen King or whoever that is. You see, I do not talk all that. I talk to you a practical experience. The experience you are seeing right now, in this experience, if you offer the second cheek, the person can be progressed. You see what I mean? So this was just an example to make you understand. I used it as a metaphor. I hope you have that kind of brilliancy or intellect in your mind. Every now and then you should use your intellect. Where it is needed, but where it is not needed, keep it aside. You see, I used it as a metaphor. You see, because there are numerous culprits around you, pal. I'm not going to say that do not defend your point of view. Maybe your point of view is true. Maybe you are spreading truth and peace, you see. But I am not asking you to get involved in the arguments with people, because after a certain period of time, if you are smart enough, meaning if your awareness is high, you would realize this person is not even comprehending. This person is not on the same page as you are. You see, after a certain period of time, you would realize that. So keep all this in your mind, basically. Keep all this in your awareness. Rewatch this video if you have to rewatch the video. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But understand that what I'm saying, if you are perplexed or if you are confused about something, you can always write me. Just become concerned with your own spirituality. Do not go around and look for the victims, that this person looks spiritual, so maybe I should bully the person. This person looks is spiritual, so maybe the person is meek or timid, or whatever the word you want to use it indicates the same illusion in your mind. No, because then you are detrimental to human evolving as far as spirituality. Then you are the one who is detrimental, basically. But if you don't want to listen, if you are too selfish, if you cannot get past through you, my words obviously are not going to make no sense. But then keep in mind that Jesus did not die for your sins. You are accountable and you are responsible for every action you are performing. That includes your breathing, even an action so small. You are accountable. Cosmos holds you accountable. And number third, keep in mind, you are expected to perform a role in the immensity of this cosmos. Don't be oblivious to it. You understand that? I do not try to scare you, but if I say the truth, again, truth is spiritual, but truth, if I say the truth and that scares you, so be it. You see, I'm not trying, my intention is not trying to scare you, but how you are perceiving the words I'm saying may scare you, because fear is the only way you know life. You are scared all the time, or sometimes half of the time, even this is small, even if you are scared during the day, you still gotta transcend it. You see why I'm saying to you? It has a memory that you cannot see, but it is very much real because you are perceiving it. Pure wisdom I am pouring out for you, trying to bring clarity in you. You see, in the immensity of cosmos, you are expected to do your part. And in order to do that, you need to take initiative. Where do you take the initiative? You see, where you are right now. Everything I'm making it brief and summing it up. So, where you take the initiative, basically, where you are right now. There is no distance here. You see, as I said, there is no distance. You cannot walk away from your own self. Wherever you are, you see, take initiative to your own well-being through Kriya meditation and the right measures that I have elaborated more than once in numerous retreats. The right measure, basically. Take the right measures, you see, along with Kriya meditation. Bring clarity in your perception. My loved ones, my seers, my viewers, what are you doing? Come on. I mean, there's got to be a point that you got to start, my loved ones. I mean, for me, time is almost up. If you know, I have the awareness of it. I have no problem. I know I have done what I have signed up for. I'm just giving you extra, you know. I'm on overtime. But with your prayers, with your well wishes, with your love, you know, that's all happening because my birthday, I was not supposed to pass my birthday. I turned 44, you know, but I'm older than the universe itself, by the way. In reality, I'm older. See my white hair? My hair even turned into white. So, yeah, keep all this in mind and become a little more concerned and become a little more aware that you also are expected to you also are expected to do your part in the immensity of cosmos. You may not have the awareness that you are the scheme of bigger plans. You are the part of bigger scheme of things. That's rather much right way. Just like an atom in your body is not aware. The atom in your body is not aware. The atom in your body has zero. You know zero? Have you ever seen a zero? Does zero excites you? So atom in your body basically has no awareness as the part of you. Atom in your body thinks it has an existence of its own, you see, but you know atom in your body is a part of you. Why? Because you have more awareness than the atom, isn't it? Just like that, Cosmos has more awareness than you. And Cosmos sees you as the part of Cosmos, whether you have the awareness or you don't have the awareness. Now you see much clearly with this metaphor. I use a lot of metaphors, you see. So this is a spiritual. You do not compare yourself. No competition in spirituality. The only competition, not even the competition, the only person you must be concerned about is spiritual, not trying to manipulate others. Oh, I thought you were spiritual. Okay, yeah. So you can say whatever you want to say, and I am now able to defend my point of view. You can accuse me, God forbid me, of things, and I cannot defend myself. No, this is not happening. This is not happening in my case here. You see, as long as I'm breathing, I have every right to defend myself, you know. So, and I also have the awareness of that too, that it is my right. It's very simple, you know. Just like you are using your mouth, just like you are using your tongue basically to say whatever you want to say, you see. But you expect other person and then you try to manipulate. Oh, I thought you were spiritual. And I said, I thought you were spiritual. And then I told Pal, listen up. We all are spiritual, just having this three-dimensional reality experience. Please keep that in mind. The only difference between me and you is I'm the guy who is more aware of it. You must be the other guy. You see? ओ शिवा मेरे को शक्ति दे Do not be overwhelmed by your thoughts, by the way, when you sit in the state of meditation, okay? Do not be over. Look, meditation is so simple. All you gotta do by yourself. You are not facing customers, you know what I mean? You are not in customer services. You are not in public dealing right now. You are not talking to anybody. You do not have to prove a point to anybody. You see, my job here, when I speak the words of truth and wisdom, even in the state of meditation, I do not have no fear, no duality, no self doubt. You see, it all has all has been made possible with the meditation. It all has been made possible with Kriya meditation and some part of Kriya Yoga. It all has been possible because taking the right measures, you see. If you are seeing and looking at me and if you feel that I wish I could be like this person, you see, I wish I could be like this being. So help is just one step away. You see, start from where you are. I said it numerous times today. I put emphasis to what I said numerous times today in this retreat. You see, do not be overwhelmed by the thought. You are not exposed to anything if you have that kind of fear. If you are what the word I'm looking for, the term. We have terms and words and vocabulary for everything in America, you see. That makes things basically very easier. What the word I'm looking for in. If you are, God forbid me, and I would send you healing and I would keep sending you as long as I'm breathing, you see. If you are homophobic, you know, people are poor people, my heart goes out to them. They are so afraid sometimes because they have subscribed attention. I have told you the nature of mind. Imagine a ball of awareness is moving on a field which has no barriers, which has no boundary, which has no limits to it. And there are numerous objects sitting on that field, numerous objects. As soon as the ball of awareness touches the object, it illuminates the object. The object does not have the existence or the light of its own. It borrows the light from the ball of awareness. You know, Moon, what was his name? Neil Armstrong. I think it was probably in 19, somewhere maybe in 19 late 1960s, the astronomist, brilliant fella, obviously very intelligent, extremely. Uh, he went to moon for the first time, I think it was 1969. You see, Neil Armstrong. So moon does not have the light of its own. You see, it borrows it from I have to sometime maneuver my action because it's a combination of two prominent actions. So it borrows the light from sun, you see. And just like that, the objects, numerous objects on the field, which has no barriers or boundaries, and objects are placed on that field. As soon as the ball of awareness comes, the objects illuminates. The object would only exist if you bring your awareness. Take that object as your thought, just like that your thought is. The more you are, the compelling the thought is, and the more you keep bringing over and over your focus voluntarily, more than half of the time humans don't even realize what they are doing. I'm not joking with you, because they are not alert enough. And I am speaking all this without having a single thought in my mind. It's just the difference, it's just the distinction of awareness. I'm not saying it with any arrogance. I am trying to show you there is another way to live out of suffering. I'm trying to show you there is another way to live out of misery. That's what I'm trying to show you, if you understand. I am trying to show you there is another way to live and to know life beyond thought, beyond disorders. I am the hope, you see, because real me and real you is the same. We are the same. Our origin and source is the same. The manifestations are different. Advaita, one without a second. There is no duality here. It's just the same Brahman. It's just the same limitless, basically manifesting and knowing itself in misery, in pain, in love, in romance, in sex, in relationships, in competition, in everything. It does not attach the traits, basically, as we understand. That's why the mind is given, so we can attach the traits. But then you start living in the mind, my friend. That is a very serious problem. Very serious problem. And you better do something about it fast. You see, you don't start living the mind, you just treat mind as it is. Mostly the defense mechanism that prompts you to do something about a situation, which you would do. Anyway, moving on. So what I'm saying the ball of awareness. As soon as the ball of awareness touches an object, it it illuminates, the the object. Just like that, thought cannot survive without your focus. It is borrowing the focus from you. I wish I had a rubber band here somewhere. Anyway, I'm just saying what happens basically. Just like that, you pull the rubber band. Remember, when you pull the rubber band, the tension in the rubber band is very, very compelling. Elastic band or rubber band. The tension is very compelling in that. One side, one finger of the rubber band is the thought, the other finger, the either side or the other side of the rubber band is yourself. And the tension between the rubber band is the compulsion. It's compelling. It's saying, come, attend me, attend me. If it is a useless thought, it would not survive without your focus. However, you must be alert enough to know whether this thought is useless or this thought is useful. You see, that's why I always tell you that listening is very, very significant. Listening is very important because sometimes an idea can come from nowhere. Your mind exists on numerous levels. Please know that. Even the mind of humanity. Or sometimes an idea can come from somebody else. Listening is important. After that, if it is a useless thought, as most of our thoughts are, just in case if you have not figured that out yet, so do not keep it alive. Because remember, you see, and then I am showing you the very form of the thought. Imagine a tree. Imagine you are sitting on a laptop or a computer and you see there are numerous three-dimensional softwares and graphics and resolutions, numerous tools, AutoCAD, Adobe, and stuff like that that we can do. Imagine you are making in one of these softwares, imagine that you are making a tree, you see, and then you use some tools, and all of a sudden, when you run the slides, it seems like tree is all of a sudden when you run the slides, it seems like the tree is growing up. You see, the tree is growing up on a very enormous, the excuse me, not enormous, pardon, the tree is growing on a very rapid speed. That's the right word. The tree is going on a very rapid speed when you mix all the slides and play it. Boom, 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 like all the branches. Boom, 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 boom. You see what's happening? That's how it would go very fast if you attended, and it's a useless thought. And then it would just keep you, it would just keep showing you over and over. And hasn't it been happened to you? I'm sure it happens, because the more your focus is, the more it would go, and you would say, God is trying to show me one, just one thought, numerous thousand different scenarios. And if you believe in those scenarios, most of the time those scenarios are useless. But you are being executed and you are being prosecuted by the judge, basically, the mind, the discriminatory aspect. You see, you are. And ironically, as I have mentioned that before, that ironically, it does not even acknowledge, ironically, it does not even know it is doing it. If you ask the mind, I'm saying hypothetically, not that is going to happen. If you ask the mind that why are you prosecuting me like that, it has no answer. Or if imagine if it did have answer, or had it any answer for you, it would say, I'm not doing anything other than the heart is doing. I'm not doing anything other than the lungs are doing. I'm doing my job. So, ironically, mind does not know what it is doing. That's why I said you cannot shut the mind off, but you can take charge on it. You can create distance because everything is happening in this. Once you create distance, you can see the movement of thought. You see? I'll be right back. Do not go anywhere. You are not off the hook. We gotta do meditation, which is practical. Story time is over, you see, but you cannot go to sleep. ओ शिवा मेरे को शक्ति दे मेरे को शक्ति Oops. So when you go into the state of meditation, prior to that, in a super silent corner where you have chosen to sit, as I have told you the significance, to burn the good incense. They have it all available on the smoke shops, or you can even get it from Walmart, which is very generic and is the place where I do not personally like to go. But anyway, I'm just saying that they sell the incense, they sell the burning incense, good sticks. So you need to do that also. It would help you attract good souls, the guardian souls, good beings. I am a being right now. Remember, I told you. Soul, spirit, spiritual, point of awareness, everything. You see, everything I told you. Once I am in the body, you can call me human. Even though I do not have now, maybe I have transcended certain features of being human. But once without the body, which is going to happen to each one of us sooner or later, we do not know when. Once without the body, soul, good beings, you see, spirit, soul, the impressions, basically, that's what I'm talking about. The impressions, all the impressions the mind has, you see, all the impressions the mind has, the and the all the impressions the mind has, and the imprints of those impressions are the karma, you see, which is going to create another experience. Right now, whatever we are doing in this moment in time, believe me or do not believe me, it is generating our next life. You know, reincarnation. Nothing is happening, nothing superstitious or superfictional is happening. It's just energy. Even if you see it through the point of view of physics or metaphysics or whatever you want to call it, it's very simple. Nothing is happening. Here, happy birthday. Every breath you are taking in is your birthday. You know that? Every breath that you are taking in is your birthday. That's why I wish you happy birthday. Remember, during meditation, sorry to interrupt, I know you are meditating with me, I can see that. During meditation, mind would go haywire, you see. If you remember, it used to be employed. Now it's not even self-employed. It used to be employed. Now it is not even self-employed. It is not even self-employed at OnlyFans, even, you know. It's significant. It's important to bring humor time to time because remember, spirituality is a very dry topic. Oh. Sit easy and comfortable. If you misunderstood something, please go ahead and write me. Know that if you misunderstood something, please go ahead and write me. I am at your service. Use my email, which is published on my YouTube, basically. I think I was banned, banned. You have heard the term banned. I think I was banned from my messenger or something. I don't know. Noor, I can now receive messages or something going on with that. I'll have to look into it. But if you have any questions, you can write me. Email. You see, if you are perplexed about something or you misunderstood something, if you understand what I mean. And remember, you see, remember the October. I'm just kidding. Okay, remember that I love you and I always have and I always will.